Well, we're back out at the forge today. I saw some pictures of a 18th century knife that I want to try to make something sort of like it. It's not going to be exactly the same thing. This type of knife had like a sort of a ball end on the end of the handle. So what I've got is a piece of 1095, 1/8 inch thick, kind of thin. I'm gonna try and put a ball end on the handle end, and we'll draw the blade out. I sort of want almost a straight spine on this blade. The handle should taper from the blade back to the ball end. So, let's see what we can get done. Well, we're going to start out by drawing out our point. This is 1/8 inch stuff. So, you saw, I think the last video, how it folded on the power hammer. Now, it folds so much on the anvil working with the hand hammer, but it's not nearly as hard to keep track of. I'd rather forge this thin stuff on the anvil than I had on the power hammer any day. Just need to make sure I get my slope right for my point. Now, the angle is going from the spine of the blade down to the point. And that's just a little swaging tool that I've made to go in my anvil. And I'm going to use that to fuller down, because I want a sharp corner there. And I'm fullering down to make my ball, so to speak, on the end of the handle. There we go. Take that out and start working the taper in. Keep everything flat, keep everything level, work that taper in from both sides. I want this blade to be straight along the spine all the way out to the end of the handle. Measuring. Can't ever measure too much. Just don't cut it. Just don't cut it off and have it be too short. You're all right. There we go. I'm going to start rounding over the end of the handle to make our ball end. I don't know. Somebody out there might have a better terminology, better term for that. But we're going to call it a ball end. It's almost like making a ball for a penny and scroll. It's a little bit aggravating. Really need a scroll starter to make that really crisp, but I don't have one, so I'm going to do what I can. Measure up again, make sure everything's flat. Still rounding that out. Not too bad. And go back in there and make it just a little more crisp. Now notice when I'm hammering on that, my hammer is always moving. Never hitting the same place twice, or you end up with flat spots. Now I'm going to start hammering in the bevels for the blade. I decided when I started this project that I wanted to show you a little different way to do a blade than what I normally do. Normally I'll curve the blade from the spine towards the tip, put a backwards curve in it, and then let the curve straighten out as I hammer in the bevels. Well, I'm going to do something a little different this time. I'm going to show you how to straighten the blade out a little bit. Without putting as much curve in it. Now the trick I'm going to do here pretty soon, well, it really only works with thin stuff and really stuff that you've got almost where you want it to be. Only works for minor adjustments. Yeah, it's not looking bad. Just tickling it out, hammering that bevel down. I want that bevel to run almost flat from spine to edge. I'm trying to forge this almost to the finish. I hate grinding, and I don't intend to grind much on this knife. Now, I need to work on that spine a little bit. I want to straighten it out. Like I said, I want that spine straight. And this is just a little trick. It's just a scrap piece of 2x4 and an old piece of hickory that I use now and again when I want to smack some steel without me leaving hammer marks. And I just use that to hammer the blade from edge down. It did roll the edge a little bit, but not much at all, really. And I can just go back with the hammer and tickle it back the way I want it. Needs a little more there. Yeah, the blade's twisted, but that's okay. That's what anvils are for. Straighten it out a little. Actually kind of liking that blade shape quite a bit. But there is still a problem. And we'll see what that is in a minute. You can see I'm barely tapping it. On down almost into the black heat, I'm taking out hammer marks. Let's measure. See, here's the problem. I didn't make my blade long enough, so I've got to bring the bevel back a little more. And that's okay. So I'll just go back here and hammer my bevel back a little farther and make it meet the rest of the knife, make it match the rest of the knife. Make the blade a little longer. It came up about a ½ inch short from what I wanted, so had to make it a little longer. And of course, we're going to have to go back to the 2x4, do a little adjusting. Actually pretty good. I'm really pretty pleased with this blade shape. Yeah, length is about right. Very little grinding to do, and I am happy with that. Well, we got the knife done. Went ahead and gave it a polish up after our normal 3 cycles to normalize. Went ahead and drilled the holes, hardened it. It's been tempered, and as you can see, the line, it's only been edge quenched, so the edge is hard, the spine is soft. Put it through an etch just to give it a little interesting color, a little bit of an antique look. Gonna slap some light colored wood handles on it, maybe do a little rough carving on the wood, and I do believe it's gonna turn out rather nice. So, if you watched today's video and you're still with me now, I much appreciate it. Be sure and give us a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure and subscribe to the channel. And as always, please leave us a comment in the comments section. Let us know what you want to see, and we'll see what we can do to get it done. Until then, have a good night, and God bless.